So we have talked about J. Marion Sims, right? He was the father of gynecology who operated on enslaved black women without anesthesia, right? And he had some absolute, horribly incorrect beliefs about black people, okay? And some of these beliefs came from Samuel George Morton, and we will be discussing him next, okay? Now, Samuel George Morton was an American craniologist, anthropologist, natural scientist, and a writer, okay? This is the man who has or had a collection of over 1,300 skulls, okay? He used most of these skulls to classify mankind, okay? And he theorized that mankind could be divided into 5 distinct races, each with a separate origin. Now, the 5 races he categorized mankind in, the first one being Caucasian, okay? In the United States, we call them white. Ethiopian, they would be your black people. American would be the indigenous population. And then we've got Mongolian and Malay. I believe both of them were representative of our Asian brothers and sisters. Okay? Now, Morton believed that cranial capacity determined intellectual ability. Okay? And this was one of the things that he used to argue in favor of racial hierarchy. And this racial hierarchy placed white people at the top and black people at the bottom. Now, Morton claimed that white people had the biggest brains, averaging about 87 cubic inches, okay? While our indigenous brothers and sisters were in the middle with an average of 82 cubic inches, okay? And this, of course, is now followed by black people who have the smallest brains with an average of 78 cubic inches. And then he also used descriptors. He described everybody. Yeah. He was more favorable to white people, saying that as distinguished by the facility with which it attains to the highest intellectual endowments. He said that our indigenous brothers and sisters were averse to cultivation and slow in acquiring knowledge. Restless, revengeful, and fond of war, and wholly destitute of maritime adventure. They didn't like getting on the water. And then for black people, he said that black people were joyous, flexible, and indolent. And while the many nations which compose this race present a singular diversity of intellectual character, of which the far extreme is the lowest grade of humanity. His work provided the foundation of scientific racism, and it promoted white supremacy. Effects that we still feel to this day. The Charleston Medical Journal wrote that we can only say that we of the South should consider him as our benefactor for aiding most materially in giving to the Negro his true position as an inferior race.